All right, welcome everybody to Conversations with Carla. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015, and I am with the beautiful, the fabulous Tatum Cohen, and we're going to be discussing 3 steps to living a uniquely badass life. Welcome, Tatum.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great.
Just to let everybody know, you might sense the energy's a little bit funny right now. Tatum just tried to get on her computer. Welcome Anna for joining. We had a little technical issue. Tatum was on, but she was upside down with no sound from her computer, which is, I don't know how she did that, but it was brilliant.
Massive skill right there.
Total. I mean, that is a badass life. But now she's actually on her phone. And she has sound, and we could see her brilliance, in a way where we don't get sick. All right. So, with, no further ado, Tatum, who are you? What do you do? How'd you get here?
Hey, everyone. So I am basically launching my coaching company. It's called Uniquely Tatum. I'm specifically focusing on teaching people how to get in touch with their inner self and being able to live from their innate and their truth and their authenticity, and to be able to bring that to every part of their life. And then, to define what success really means to them, not the public perception of success, and then to be able to live their most vibrant, authentic life. So that's what I'm up to now. That's my super exciting new venture.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you want like a little backstory action?
Well, sure. Yeah. Let's do a little backstory, and then we'll dig deeper into what you said, because of course I have a lot of questions. I'm going to unpack that. That's sort of what I do. And welcome, Kevin, who just joined. And we're just now getting into who is Tatum, and how did she become so brilliant?
Carla's so great because she always just gives me that little oomph of love that I need. Okay, so backstory. I'm 31. I've spent most of my 20s in school. I went to Penn State for undergrad. I have a degree in communications. I'm very big into personal development, and I'm obsessively curious. So I'm always reading and researching and watching documentaries. And I just think that there's no way to have too much information. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I'm always looking into new things. I'm very interested in natural health. And so because of that, after college, I decided to go to chiropractic school. So I spent a lot of time in chiropractic school. I ended up actually choosing to leave chiropractic school because for as much as I absolutely love it, it wasn't 100% congruent. And I knew that because I was literally about to have a nervous breakdown. And so I'm fairly well known in the chiropractic realm because I
just laugh because like if you follow her on Facebook, which I highly recommend, and we'll put a link in here, but like a very common maybe tweet, but even Facebook posting is like, hey, chiropractors, we need somebody in this city or this state or this part of the world, and people respond to her. So like,
I know a lot of people is what, because I like going to seminars and learning more, and so because of that, you know people eventually. So, and in chiropractic school, people come from all over the world, to come to the school. So because of that, you end up meeting people from everywhere, and then they graduate, and then they go back to their respective places. And before you know it, you just know people everywhere, which is cool because I like to travel the world. So it's convenient. Where was I going with this? So
it wasn't congruent because you're about to have a breakdown.
Yes. So because I knew so many people in chiropractic, and because I was a leader in my school with, being involved in clubs and blah, 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 not everyone obviously, but a lot of people knew who I am. So because of that, it was really scary for me to choose to leave school because, especially because I worked very hard in school. I actually got kicked out of school twice, which is a whole nother set of stories. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into right now. It's a whole nother blab. Worth telling, but a whole nother blab. So, because it took me so long to get so far, when I left, people still don't know why I left. I mean, most people think I graduated, but I left right before clinic because I knew that it wasn't 100% congruent. What was congruent is the philosophy of chiropractic, and that the body is able to heal itself.
Yes.
And that you just have to give yourself the opportunity for full self-expression. So because of that, once I realized, and it took me a long time to realize this, that my purpose is to lead people back to their innate, to be able to live love.
Well, I just want to pause. How old are you?
31.
Yeah. So it felt like a long time to get there.
It felt like a long time.
It felt like a long time. I just, because there's people in their 70s that are still like, what am I here for?
Yeah.
Right. So
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so you have your dad's a chiropractor.
Yep.
Right. So you were raised in this holistic sort of environment, which I'm really envious about. I grew up in the Midwest, South Bend. Here's some antibiotics, have a good life.
Yeah, that was the opposite of my life.
It's like, here's some kombucha and go sit in the sun and meditate. So you went to chiropractic school.
Yes.
Decided to do something else.
Yeah. So I just chose to leave. Like I woke up one day and it was right before finals, and I just had this thought flash in my head, and it was just like, shit's got to change. Sorry about the swearing, but
yeah. Well, I swear, so I should put like swearing blab, like.
Yeah. Sorry, I sort of emphasize.
Yeah, I want to stop right here for 1 minute because what you just said, I think, could change people's lives now, because so many of us will have that thought, like, I want to get the bleep. I don't know why I said bleep when we've been saying fuck this whole time, but we want to, like, I want to get out, like, I want to get out of here, but we push through because that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
And then we go do the right thing. So when you got that, the message from source or from your innate or from whatever, how did you know it was time for you to leave versus push forward? Because one thing that I really like to unpack is the difference between fear and intuition.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, at the time, I didn't know if it was leave or stay.
Okay.
What I did know was that something radically needed to change. I wasn't happy with the people I was surrounding myself with the exception of a select few. I wasn't happy with the direction that my life was going, and I just wasn't happy in general. I mean, like, for the most part, I can be relatively happy, but there's a difference between having a cup that's full and having a cup that's like just enough.
So, but there's also a means to the end, right? So, like, going to school, like chiropractic school, sucks because it's medical school. Like, people don't realize it's 4 years of medical school, intense medical school, cadavers. Like, we're talking medical school. And then, but then you can be done and then have your practice. So, this is a juicy part because so many people are at that place. And I think you're such an inspiration of, like, don't be afraid to say no and say no, even if you've been there for 4 years.
Hey, look, I left chiropractic school with $180,000 in student loan debt. And after trying to make my way through school and all my extra prereqs, because I didn't take science as an undergrad. I mean, it was like probably 6 or 7 years of me trying to be a chiropractor. So when I left, people didn't know what to do with that. They still, my parents still sometimes ask me when I'm going back. I think, and my parents are the most supportive, wonderful people. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But, there's people that want the best for you. But the problem is that people want what they think is the best for you, not what is intuitively right for you. And what is always, in my experience, intuitively right for you scares the fuck out of people.
Perfect. We're going to stop here. So when you get, when you're scared, right? When something feels right, like one, it could be complete calmness, or it could be like you're standing on the cliff and like, oh my God, I have to jump.
For me, I'm always on the cliff. Because I will, I mean, part of me is a little bit of a people pleaser. I want to make people happy, you know? I mean, now I'm much more peace, but you know, I'm human just like everybody else, and I have fears.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think the problem with society is that people want to either avoid fear or they tell you to not have fear. But in reality, fear is a real thing, but you have to push through the fear. You have to want what's on the other side so bad, or just be so sick and heartbroken about what's on the other side behind you to jump forward.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Because any other way, you're just pussyfooting around and you're torturing yourself for longer. So just put your big boy pants on and grow a pair and jump over whatever it is that you need to jump over and get to the other side.
Yeah. Or big girl pants.
Big girl pants or a skirt. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Any clothing you'd like to wear.
Yeah, whatever is whatever your authentic self.
Hey, yeah, absolutely.
Which is you.
You could wear some lederhosen. It's all good.
Heck yeah. In fact, please do, because that would be so fun. That's what you're wearing on their next blab.
Watch me go rent a costume or buy one of those like 50% off after Halloween.
Absolutely. Okay, so you left, and then we don't have to talk about what you're doing now, but we can. But what, like right now, what is your calling? Let's talk about that. And, you know, what are the 3 steps to living a uniquely badass life, you know?
Oh, gosh. 3 specific steps. All right. Be very careful who is your inner circle and who you talk to the most.
Yes.
That cannot not be talked about.
Yeah. What do you classify as your inner circle?
I call them my tribe.
Yeah.
My people that I love are my tribe. I cultivate my tribe very specifically, and I don't have a problem cutting people out.
Yeah.
So my, I guess, specifications for being in my tribe personally are you have to be a lover. You know, you have to be open to conversations about interesting things. I don't really care what those things are. I don't care if we have completely separate viewpoints, but I need you to be open and aware and conscious. I need you to be a person that is striving to better themselves in whatever way works for you. And I want you to choose happy. I want to be around positive, happy, motivational people. Yeah. So I've been very blessed in the last couple of years, ever since I woke up that day and was like, shit's got to change. The universe has been bringing me an amazing tribe of people. And now the people that I talk to the most are super inspiring young entrepreneurs doing cool stuff. So, you know, it just goes to show that what you put out there will come back to you. It's just always in surprising ways.
Absolutely. And so, you know, now with social media, especially Blab, obviously Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, the inner circle could be like someone in Jamaica, someone in Croatia, in Denver, in Indiana, right? Like, it doesn't have to be peeps that you physically hang out with, although that's huge because, as we know, energy, we feed off each other's energy.
Absolutely.
So if you could find that tribe close to you, welcome, Steve.
Hey, welcome to the party.
So we're just a little catch up for people who are just joining. Tatum is 2 outdoor blabs, fun. So Tatum's just sharing. You know, she's an amazing human, and I think everybody why I invited her here should know her and get to know her and follow her. She is completely unique and authentic, and just is living a life of, I was going to say no fear, but lots of fear, but doing it anyway, and like not settling. And so she's just sharing with us her journey of, sorry, I'm a little distracted. The dogs are like so stoked it's warm out here as I am, and they're like rolling and things. They're not my dogs, so we're just going to let them do that. But I just need to make sure they're
Thank
not
you.
like playing with bees. Anyway, so the first thing that Tatum just shared was, you know, making sure that you have, I can't remember your exact words, but like a tribe that really resonate with your morals. So for you, right, it's like you want inspirational, you want happy people, you want people that are gonna really support your crazy, what might appear to be crazy endeavors.
Everyone thinks that I'm crazy. I'm totally fine with that. My friends call me Carmen Sandiego because I'm always moving to new places and they never know where I am. So I'm used to being the ridiculous, crazy friend.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. That's what we get along, right?
Yeah, right. Because a lot of the people, especially people that I've known since from when I was growing up, they're always like, oh, I wish I could do what you do, or I wish I could, and I'm like, it's not hard. Like, I'm not rolling in the dough over here. Like, it's just travel is a big priority for me. Like, I know what my priorities are and I do things accordingly. And I'm pretty much a minimalist, so I don't have a lot of stuff. And I think that makes a big difference as well. But anytime I get too comfortable or when I have too much stuff, I get rid of stuff because it helps me clear my mind.
Great. I don't know if that's going to be one of your tips, but I want to add that in there is clutter on the outside is clutter on the inside. And when we literally eliminate, like I've been traveling in my car for 7 months around the country, right? All my shit's in LA. And here you're in New Zealand, you're in LA now, you might be going somewhere else. I don't know if that's supposed to be out in the world, but like, you're a little popcorner too,
Oh, I'm going.
Excellent. And so a solid tribe, only having things that really matter to you and that make you happy.
Yeah, because everything is just stuff. I mean, I've got my like little suitcase of stuff that's sentimental to me, that's stuff that I take with me because it makes me feel like home wherever I go. I have been relatively stationary for a little while now, getting ready to move again. Super stoked about it. But the rest of the stuff is just stuff. I mean, anything is replaceable if it's just stuff. I mean, furniture, sell it on Craigslist, get new stuff, whatever.
Exactly.
It's just, I mean, out with old, in with the new, try new styles, blah, blah, blah. It's all good.
And then what would you say, let's throw another thing out there to live a uniquely badass life.
Let's see. Those are important. I try to eat clean. That's important to me.
I thought you might. I was sort of intuiting.
She was like, I am sending you this telepathic message.
So yeah, what does that mean to you though? Because let me tell you, I'm in Indiana visiting family, and what cleanly means to them is not what it means to you and I. So can you just go a little bit in depth of what that means?
Yeah, sure. I'm debating if I want to answer that question first.
Yeah. Which we do. Hold, please. Let me. Can you? I forgot to tell you guys this. When you want to post a question, this is what you do. You do /Q, and then this will let us. Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Exactly. That's exactly what you do, and then I could come over here and say we're going. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. So this is what we're going to be talking about right now. So everybody could see. You're so wide awake. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for paying attention. I like you. I am going to follow you. Okay. So Tatum, how do you define a badass?
Living your truth, baby. Because it's so badass in general because no one does it.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so living the truth. I would say, I mean, I don't want to say ditto because that's not really unique. So I would say badass is doing things that are challenging, like out of your comfort zone, regardless of what other people around you might say, and just keep going, not conforming, to societal norms.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think people know me for not conforming to societal norms. I don't like rules.
Yeah, what sign are you? I don't know if I knew this. Are you Taurus? Wait, I can't remember. What are you? Uh-oh.
On the cusp. Can you hear me?
You went out and then you came back. Say that again.
My birthday's June 21st, so I'm on the cusp of Gemini
That's
Cancer.
right. You're actually you have the birthday of my dad.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, that's right. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, that's funny.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I think technically by birth year I'm a Cancer, but I just pick which horoscope I like better.
Exactly. Okay, great. So, so that was answered. Any other questions for the Tatum? I almost called you what Lewis calls you.
There'd be some fighting words now. Lewis gets away with it because I've known him for so long.
Yeah.
I actually knew him from chiropractic school. The first one. and the second one, actually.
That's funny.
Okay. So you wanted me to talk about what I define as clean eating.
Yeah.
Okay. I eat really what I call clean at home. So I don't feel guilty when I go out. I don't believe in dieting. I think it's a bunch of BS. And I think that intense restriction that people put on themselves sucks. I mean, who likes rules? No one likes rules. Why would you want to do a diet? That's just more rules. So my version of clean eating is I eat primarily produce and very little dairy, very little grains, very little meat. This is based on about 10 years of obsessive article reading. Yeah. And documentary watching on notes. And honestly, it's what makes me feel the best. That's really why I eat that way.
Perfect. And I want to stop there for a minute. First, I'm going to welcome everybody. And there was a question. So we're sort of, we're having a conversation. That's why these are actually going to be titled Conversations with Carla. It is an interview, but we're weaving in and out personal life with these tips. And so the first tip of living a badass life Tatum came up with, the first one was...
Oh, you want me to say? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I hadn't realized you were prompting me. My bad.
That's okay.
What was it? Choose your tribe wisely. Otherwise, you're going to screw yourself.
Yep. So choose your tribe. I kind of threw in the getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve you.
Yeah, absolutely. Which includes people.
Absolutely. My hand looks really huge when I do that. And then the third one right now is you're saying eat cleanly, but so I'm going to just stop for a minute and reflect that though. You said it's what makes you feel good. So, yeah. So like I'm a big paleo fan, right? But not paleo like eat lots of meat, like eats lots of veggies, but only eat happy, healthy animals. If you're going to do them. But other people, even though I don't agree with it, are vegans. Other people like to be vegetarians. So it's like whatever makes them feel happy and vibrant, right?
Yeah, so this is really how I eat, okay? Like when I say I eat clean and I eat primarily this stuff, blah, 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 that's the truth. But the reason why I do that, besides the fact that I feel better, just my tummy feels better and I have a clearer mind, is the fact that I eat what my inner voice tells me to eat. And the reason why is because your body is so intelligent that it knows. And when you start eating cleaner, you'll notice the difference, because when you eat a bunch of crap, like a lot of processed foods, then your body's just going to say, I want Cheetos. And we all know Cheetos is not what you should be eating, even though they're delicious. Totally. Maybe a once a year treat for me. But at the same time, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Then I have a question for you.
So like when I go into the produce section, for example,
yep,
which is totally my favorite place to go. I love grocery shopping. Besides farmer's market, is I look at what's there and I pick what intuitively I know my body needs. So I look at the wall of green stuff and I'm like, is today a kale day or does my body want more spinach? Because your body knows what vitamins and minerals that it needs on a cellular level. Yep. If you can tune into yourself to know when your body is choosing that, then your levels of health will just jump, because it's not, oh, I should eat vegetables. Then it goes to, my body needs this right now. So every day I try to eat as many different colors as possible. And I vary my shopping routine based on what my body is telling me it needs.
Yeah.
So like this time I bought a pomegranate. I haven't bought one of those in
Oh
can't
my
tell
God,
you how long.
I bought two this week and I never buy them.
Right? So I'm like, obviously this is something, maybe it's the changing of the weather that my body needs this vitamin mineral for blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't dissect it. But I know that I'm going to eat what I know is the right thing for me to eat right now, which is exactly how I live my life. I'm going to do what I know intuitively is the right thing for me to do right now.
Totally. And I think that, you know, when we slow down and do that, our bodies know, right? Especially if we could get outside as much as possible, because then we tap into the natural rhythms. When we're in office buildings or homes and live in the synthetic life, it's like, it's almost impossible to get in tune to you because you're in tune, because we're going to be entrained to whatever's around us.
Absolutely. Which is the number one reason why I could never have like an office job in a cubicle or something, because it's just not, it's not congruent to who I am. I'm a very nature person and I like being around people. I like being connected to people. But I mean, I've been working from home for a year now by myself, me and my cat. And so it's like, you know, but I stay in touch with everyone via social media. And of course I leave the house, you know.
Absolutely.
What do you mean movement of choice?
Oh, where I think where you're going to move, but maybe not. So one thing that I wanted to say is, we'll get to that in just 1 second. So I want to just focus on the eating part for a minute.
Yeah.
Have you noticed when you're in a funk, or if you don't work out for a while, that you tend to gravitate to the low energy foods, and then when you're in a good mood or tapped into source or the beloved or working out, then you gravitate to the higher foods?
Absolutely. There's a complete correlation in my world. And I also believe that weight is completely correlated to your mind.
Yep. Oh, that's a no. Yeah. Now you're speaking my language, but yeah.
Okay. So
let's see what, so, I don't know what your name is. A? I don't know what the A stands for.
A?
What up, A? So are you asking just like, Anna? Okay.
Like exercising stuff. Hey, Anna.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I get motion in my life? That's another thing that should be on this list for being badass. You have to move your body. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if your number one mode of exercise is having sex 8 times a day. Whatever it is for you, it is for you. Okay. For me, what I do is I just try to be active in general. So I don't sit that much. I try to walk around more. I go for walks. I actually found that I was sitting too much, and the area that I'm in right now, it doesn't feel super safe at night, and I like to walk at night. So I actually just joined Planet Fitness strictly to go on the bicycle and the treadmill so that I could get some more miles in my day. Even though it's not the same, at least it's motion. And I just want to be able to get like that blood flow and the lymph flow and everything to be able to cleanse and get that motion in. So that's my, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I do plan on taking up yoga again. I haven't for quite a while now. But yeah, I mean, the gym bores me, honestly. And I think it bores most people. So I typically do classes. Like I took salsa dancing, beginner salsa dancing when I lived in New Zealand. Like I've taken like pole dancing classes. Like I just like to do stuff that's interesting and fun. I really want to do acro yoga. That's like the next thing that I'd really like to try. So, so basically to answer your question, I just try to be active in general, and I like to go exploring. I like to go on little hikes and stuff and all of that shenanigans. And I do push-ups around the house. Like I do a lot of wall push-ups and, oh, thanks. That's really nice. I drink a lot of water and I eat real food. I try to eat at least 50% raw every day. I've been kind of slacking on that, but that's my goal. Well, that's my current goal. I'd like to get up to like 70%, but
which I just want to say, like, that has to do with constitutions, right? Like your constitution could handle that. Like as in Chinese medicine and earth, raw wrecks my body. Like I'm supposed to do all cooked foods. Yep.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
I believe that. Yeah. I mean, because everybody's body chemistry is different. So you really have to just explore what works for you, which is why research is so important. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just read some articles on the internet and
Well, and
see
try.
what works. Yeah, you gotta try it.
Because you don't, I mean, we are a walking chemistry experiment. And what worked for us yesterday might not work for us today. And what, no, please.
Yeah.
And so we, you know, the only way we know that is if we go out there and try. And that's, you know, also with school, right? Like you went to chiropractic, you went to school for 7 years and then you realize, hey, I don't want to do this. But if you didn't do that, you may not have never known that answer.
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting is speaking about food is that I would have never known that this is how the type of eating that works best for me if it hadn't have been for going to school in New Zealand. Because when I was going to school over there, my loans and stuff that I had, it paid for school, but nothing else. So I was working while I was in school, taking 12 classes at a time and, you know, losing my mind. And I was broke. I mean, when I say I was broke, I mean, I had $15 a week if I was lucky to pay for groceries. So all I could afford literally was vegetables from the Chinese market that were ripe.
Right.
And being sold on sale. Okay. Like this is literally all I could afford. Like I couldn't afford dairy. I couldn't afford meat. I couldn't afford any extras. Anytime I ate anything other than fresh produce was if I was at work and they had free food or something, because I worked in a restaurant at the time. But so I was essentially, my diet was probably very close to vegan for 2 years. And I mean, I ate meat maybe once a week and dairy. So but it works for me. I felt so good. I mean, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did in the chiropractic program if I hadn't been eating like that, because it was the only thing that kept my mind clear. Sorry,
right.
My cat was playing with this plastic bag.
That's okay. I'm watching dogs. You're hanging out with the cat.
She's like, this is a perfect time to come explore this. Yes.
Mom is distracted.
Right.
Okay. So let's bring it back for a minute and just,
yeah, that's not cool.
So well, the one thing that I want to say on the food thing, and then we'll go back and sort of do a recap, is the rule of thumb is like vegetables detox and meat heals. Like that's sort of like, at least in Chinese medicine and like the GAPS diet. And that's just in terms of the nutrients of, you know, what your body could actually digest and assimilate. Can you hold the space for a minute, because the dogs have dug like a 4-foot hole behind the shed and I need to go.
Yeah, no worries. I can talk.
I'll be right back.
That's hilarious. Okay. So based on what she was just talking about, like, as I said, I don't eat that much meat, but when I do eat meat, I'm really specific about the meat that I eat. I want it to be antibiotic and hormone free. And I want it to be, you know, grass-fed, happy. I don't want it to be eating grains, because most of the grains, pretty much all of the grains fed to cattle, are GMO. And I do my best not to eat genetically modified foods. So that's why I don't really eat that much meat. Basically, what you just missed is I don't like to eat GMOs. And so I eat happy cows.
Yes.
I have more broth than anything else. I mean, like she was saying, you know, meat heals. I don't eat that much meat, but I'll have bone broth.
Yeah. Well, bone broth and the organs is actually where all the nutrients is, not in the flesh.
I do know that that's what they say, and I have read that in the research, but I cannot bring myself to eat organ meats because it does not feel innately right to me, considering that I know that the organs are the cleansing organisms for the animal, and that's where it filters all the toxins. So for me, I just can't do the organs, but I get it. Yeah. But that's for me, you know, I know what's not right.
The liver doesn't hold the toxins. The kidneys hold more than the liver, but still, like if your body isn't craving it, then you might not need it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many people think liver today?
A
I
lot,
mean,
actually.
maybe
A
it's
lot.
probably true, just not me.
Right, exactly. Okay, so but this all goes through what you're saying. It's like being innately you, figure out what really vibes as your truth and frickin' just go do it. Like who cares what anybody or anything else says? I don't know what the thing would be, but you know, it might have a saying too.
Yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, if you want to fall asleep and be happy with your life and the way that you're living, you have to be true to who you are. And I know that it's scary. I'm not immune to scary, but it's a have to do. It's a have to do because otherwise your soul dies a little bit every day. And you can choose to live like that, and you can choose to take action and not. And for me, the fear of mediocrity is so terrifying that I would rather live completely outside of my comfort zone every day and feel like I'm going to throw up and be excited and just know that everything's going to work out however it's going to work out, and we're just going to make it work,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be that person that's stuck. I don't want to get to 65 to retire and realize that they stole my social security from the government and that I'm too sick and unhealthy to go travel the world, or my savings got eaten up by some whatever, or I that scares me more than anything else. So I'm willing to take the risks and move through the fear, because it's the only way for me. It's always been the only way for me.
And so this is really good lead in. So what I hear is that this is now, welcome people who are joining Tatum and I. We've been on here for about 40 some minutes, chit-chatting about what it takes to live a uniquely badass life. And what are you doing now? So what it sounds like to me is you're going to help people with this.
That's my plan.
And so what does that look like?
So I am offering 3 different coaching opportunities. So
what's the general theme?
I want to be able to help people get back to who they really are.
Awesome.
I think a lot of people have been trapped in what other people think they should be. And a lot of times you almost don't even know who you really are anymore. And you have to explore that. And that just happens to be one of those things that I'm really good at. And I've been coaching my friends for a very long time. And they've been having a lot of breakthroughs. And there's just been a lot of things pointing me in the right direction in the last little while that's been saying, this is really what you're supposed to be doing. And so I am stepping into this, and it's scary, but you know what? It's way more exciting than scary. And I'm really looking forward to it because I know that I'm good at it. This is how I live my life. I live my life from this place of authenticity and truth. And if I can help you guys or anyone else live their truth, I mean, that's the ultimate fulfillment of my mission. I want people to live a life that they love.
And so is part of this bridging in like the stuff you learned from chiropractic school? Like is there a wellness aspect to it? Is it like fully like soul living?
I will be. So this is my plan, all right?
Yeah.
I've learned a lot over the years when it comes to this because I've had to learn myself how to live my truth. Okay.
Right.
So I've learned a lot of tips and tricks. And, as I said earlier, my obsessive article reading, yes, stuff that I learned in chiropractic school. Yes, stuff that I learned from reading articles. I mean, I did a lot of personal growth work through Landmark Education. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's incredible. I absolutely recommend it. I've got a degree in communications. I mean, I've had a lot of experiences. I've known a lot of different types of people. I've been in a lot of situations that I wouldn't wish on anybody. I've had a lot of life experience for being the age that I am. Yep. And I want to take the things that I've learned and I want to get people where they're at help them figure out what their truth is, what their priorities are, and then teach them the tips and the tricks that I know that are little things that they can implement that make a huge difference. Tiny things.
How would somebody know that they're your ideal client? So what I hear, because, you know, part of what I do is I'm a holistic well, I used to be a holistic wellness coach. So holistic still slides into my, my title accidentally sometimes, but, intuitive healer and business coach, right? Helping people grow their business. So when I hear you say that, like, that's great. And it's like, well, who the fuck how do they know, like, that you could help them? So what I hear is like the people who are going to work and maybe that are grumpy about it, or people who, like, they know there's something better, but they don't even know where to begin. Like, what sort of pains, what sort of questions do these people have? What are their fears? What are their desires?
You're going to be somebody that's ready to make a radical change in your life, number one, because I'm not fucking around.
Yeah.
I mean business. I want you to have the best life possible, and I will ride you in the nicest, most loving possible way with virtual hugs. But if you want this, if you want it bad enough that you're willing to spend money to grow your life, then I'm not going to not do my job. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that you get what you want. I'm going to make sure that you get the growth that you want. And I'm going to make sure that you're being your super authentic self. And I believe that the people that are meant to be coached by me are the people that are ready for radical change.
Great.
And, you know, that's...
How do they know they're ready for radical change?
When you're sick of the way shit's going now.
Mm-hmm. And could be their health, that could be their work, that could be their relationships. Like, honestly, it's any area of life, because your authenticity should hypothetically spread to every area of your life, not categories. I don't think that life is filled with categories. You know, life is life. Every moment is present. And, you know, you have to be able to be centered in your truth at every given moment of the day. And if you step out of that, you need tools to be able to jump back in as fast as possible. Exactly.
If you can't recognize when you're out of sync with yourself and jump back in, that's the first problem.
Which is most of society, you know. Perhaps not the people on this call, because, you know, we tend to attract people that are similar to us. But how do you, it's like, so what I hear is one of the things that you help people do, even if they are pretty in tune, is you're going to help them figure out how to tell what are the symptoms, what are the signs of them not being congruent to who they really are. Because we get imprinted from our mom, dad, spouse, work, and we don't know a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, that's something that you're going to be dealing with every day of your life. You're never going to get to a point where you're complete and you've done all your work and you are, you know, a spiritual badass that has, like, you know, guru status. Like, you're never going to get there. You can only strive for that and be happy with where you are at every moment.
So Sean, just so you know, if you want to do a question, you could do a Q / and then a space, and then it lets us know that there's a question. But how can people live their badass life without taking giant risk? Married father of 2.
Hey, it depends on what your version of a risk is. I mean, it's to be honest, I think it's a little bit hard to answer that question without knowing, you know, what your scoop is. But I mean, there's nothing that should set you back, because even if you are married and you have kids, and that's wonderful, you can still take risk and move forward in a way that's congruent with you, even if it's just in baby steps. Because once you open the door, more doors will open. And before you know it, that big risk turns into 100 tiny risks, and you're there. So
the other thing about that question that I would ask or to unpack is without taking a giant risk. So some people quitting one job is a giant risk. Some people, it's like moving to the other side of the country is a giant risk. So it all depends on what is, some people it's telling a spouse, hey, I want you to actually do the dishes is a giant risk. So that's something that, that we each have a degree of what risk is. And some, like moving around the country for some people is super easy and there's no risk, but actually having a heart to heart with someone is a risk.
You'd be surprised.
We actually did define badass. So I defined badass as doing something that's completely against a societal norm that scares the heck out of us. That's out of our comfort zone. And Tatum, your definition?
Just being your authentic truth.
Which is freaking scary.
Which is really scary. So that counts in my world. Yeah, but I really want to comment on what Steve is saying about doing dishes and giant risk, because let me put this in perspective. Like for some people, that might not be anything. I dated a guy last year who was extremely verbally and emotionally abusive. He was the biggest lesson, multiple lessons for me in my life. And there were times where, I lost myself. And when I say that I lost myself, I forgot how to be grateful. And if you know me, that's hard to believe. Yeah. So, it was, I would just, let me just say, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But I couldn't speak up for myself in any situation, because if I did, it turned into a 6-hour verbally abusive argument where I was belittled and my soul was crushed. And there's situations that people are in where even saying, no, I don't want to go with you when you go run errands, I'm just going to stay here. Or, hey, by the way, I have a call with my friend tomorrow, so I have to be home at this time. Or, hey, I don't want to eat rice and chicken for dinner again today, can be the biggest things that you've ever said. So where some people are is different from where other people are. You have to meet people where they're at. And that's huge. It took me almost a year of daily hours worth of self-healing to get to where I am now. And I'm so happy with where I am.
Yeah. And the other thing that I want to say to that is, that sucks that you were in that place. And when we lose ourselves, it's like we don't even know there's an out, and we don't even know we lost ourselves. We might know, but we get so blended into what's happening. But the other thing that I want to speak to that same topic about doing dishes or asking someone to do the dishes, we might have the most friendliest, most joyful, innocent spouse or partner, but we were imprinted of, we weren't allowed to speak up, or when we did speak up, like our mom got beat, or like something that we were imprinted on as kids formed us. So even though the present situation, it's not logical, emotions and fear, none of that's logical. It's, so it might sound silly, but when it's a thing, it's a thing. Like fear is a thing.
For sure. And it's interesting because actually now I'm so thankful for that experience. It's almost disturbing how obsessively thankful I am, because it was just, it was just such a great experience. I learned so many lessons from it. Someone was asking, how I attracted that into my life. And the crazy thing is that I was friends with him for 8 years. 8 whole years beforehand. But I never saw that side of him. But the crazy thing, the best thing is that it was like watching a car crash. You just almost can't look away, because he would say things that I was just like, what? How is that true? But because I stayed for as long as I did, which wasn't that long. I really was only with him for like 3 months, but it had to be longer because we had a business together. But it was an opportunity for me to grow at such an exceptionally fast rate that I think that, whatever powers that be just knew that I needed that.
Yeah.
And these are the key lessons that I learned from that. Okay. This is why it's important. People teach you lessons. Okay. People change if they want to change. You cannot change another person. You cannot coach a person that does not want to be coached.
Yeah.
And many more, but
yeah, totally. So we're about 6 minutes before we're gonna call this a wrap, and I want to go back and whoops. Apparently 6 minutes goes fast in Tatum's world. Hopefully she'll join us back. But we're gonna recap the 3, which is probably now 6 steps to living a uniquely badass life. And bring in what she was just talking about of having this relationship. Hold, please, seeing if she is reaching out on my phone. Part of living a uniquely badass life is also being able to be in tricky situations and learn from our relationships. And as she was saying, she's so grateful for that horrible time, and that is pretty badass. She didn't go into judgment. She wasn't in victim mode. She didn't make him out to be wrong or bad, because we are all doing our best. And so being able to realize what's going on and find the gift is there. So I don't know if she's going to hop back on. But does anybody have she's trying to get back on. Is there anybody in the chat that has anything to comment? We have about 4 minutes, and then I actually have, I have to go. I have a 3:15 appointment. And if you do, just type in the, so the 3 steps. I kind of want Tatum on here to, to go over them, but these may not go in order. So step number 1 is living your unique self, like finding your truth and doing, living your life based on what that truth is, being really authentic. Okay, so not thinking. Okay, so I'll sit here and chat. Tatum, do you want to type in the 3 steps? Being uniquely you. The second, like getting rid of things that no longer serve you. That's, clothing articles, articles of clothing articles. That's funny. Furniture, people, clutter on the outside is also clutter on the inside. Tatum also mentioned eating cleanly. What you put in your body really affects your mind and your spirit. So basically living consciously, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually is how I would phrase it. If it's in storage, you don't need it. Well, I'm going to say I have a storage unit in LA because I've been a nomad for 7 months, and I think you're right. I don't need it, but I really do like my surfboard. And so there's also things that make you happy. I think, keeping those, as long as they don't bog you down, is good. Yeah, some stuff is good. I do have an abundance in my life. Okay, so, and the last one, Tatum, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but about taking the good, like finding the lessons out of the situation and not going into victim mode, like staying in control, whether, if somebody wronged you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Anything else that you guys have questions on? Yeah. Awareness. It's key. Awareness of our breath. Remember, like the body follows your mind and the mind follows the breath. So when you have those together, it really helps us be present in the moment. Oh, that's interesting. That didn't go to a question. Would you say that you became... Of course, I would say, we entrain to the energy around us. So that's why, the rule of thumb is you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. So when we, if you're hanging out with people who live, and this isn't to criticize them, because we all are doing our best and we all are, somewhat victims of our surroundings, but that's when we become not a victim and choose our surroundings. Oh, interesting. So when we hang out with people that are, you know, vibrant and living a healthy life, and it doesn't mean like they're perfect. Like they could eat a Snickers, or, you know, they could have a beer, they could do whatever, but but as long as they are, you know, wanting to to rock the world and rock the world and make the world a better place. All right. Great. I think that's it. Hey, Tatum, since you're in the chat, please put how they could find you. And you guys follow me. I'm doing a blab every day this week with amazing people. And at carlashawn.com under blabs, you'll see the upcoming schedule. And keep an eye out for conversationswithcarla.com, where these are, I'm going to be doing these almost every day. And so Tatum, what is your Facebook handle? Okay, so uniquelytatum.com. Thank you, Steve. Is Tatum's website. And Facebook is just Tatum Cohen, TATUMCOHEN. All right, well, thank you so much. We've had and Uniquely Tatum IG, Instagram. Good job, brain. And Tatum Vibe. Oh, thank you so much, Anna. You rock. Wait, yeah, Anna. I think I got that right. Wonderful. And Periscope, Uniquely Tatum. Yeah, so Tatum's on Periscope, which her scopes are always so fun. And I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Cheers. Figure out how to